What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. And for today's WWE news video, there's quite a bit to talk about, including the latest on Sasha Banks' contract expiring. Wonder when? Apparently Stephanie McMahon, and I know that you guys had already seen this on social media, but apparently Stephanie McMahon is going to be taking a leave of absence away from WWE. But the question is why? Why is that? And this first one I'm going to be talking about, since we're on the topic of Stephanie McMahon, Triple H is back working full-time in WWE, which apparently for him it is all about The Office, no pun intended. So I think it was like sometime last weekend or like this past weekend or something like that. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, big shout out, no copyrights. You guys know how this works with the algorithm. Apparently Dave Meltzer reports that Triple H is back working in the office full time. So this means that he is no longer involved in the day-to-day creative running of NXT, but he'll be more focused on recruiting and developing, the talent in the future. So this now means that it'll keep him occupied for quite a while. But obviously you guys know developing talent was always his thing, and he's done that since the early 2010s. Even if the black and gold era of NXT didn't need too much. Didn't need too much in the way of in the case of development, they didn't need it. But funny enough, WWE had recruited people, stars from collegiate sports to so many, to so many, other different professions, including Roxanne Perez, who actually is a former Ring of Honor standout, Rock C, who has been impressive in the last few weeks. Obviously, going up against Toxic Attraction, and even also this past Tuesday on NXT, defeating Lash Legend in the semifinals of the Women's Breakout Tournament. But honestly, I'm not too surprised, but I'm glad that he's back in the office full time. This means that if there was if somebody wanted to step inside WWE headquarters in Stanford, who would be the first person that they would talk to? Triple H. Easy. But as you guys are well aware, excuse me. But as you guys are well aware, last September, sometime last year in September, Triple H had suffered a cardiac event, which forced him to have heart surgery. And now he's no longer allowed to wrestle with how bad the event was. He can't. He's done. He's officially done with WWE as far as being an in-ring competitor goes. But if you think about it, it's bittersweet, because he's already done everything that there's to do in WWE. But at the same time, there's a lot of talent in WWE that he hasn't yet to face. Guys like guys like AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, and and even also Veer Mahan, Dominic Mysterio. There's a lot of guys, in the locker room that he has not faced at all, and that upsets him. But this is what's best for him. This is what what needed to be done. But honestly, I'm glad that he's back full time in in the office. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we might see superstars from AEW coming back to WWE. Like Adam Cole or Samoa Joe or Dean Ambrose or Daniel Bryan. For all we know. And you guys are wondering, wait a minute, how do you know they're in AEW? Do you watch? No, I don't. But that's the power of social media for you. That's the power of social media for you. But anyway, I'm just glad that he's back in the office full time. As I said, if there was anybody that you would want to talk to get signed to WWE, Triple H is the guy to talk to. But that brings me, obviously, to Stephanie McMahon, because we found out that she has been taking a leave of absence for a little bit, but we don't know. We don't know why or how this all came about. So, Mike Johnson of PW Insider, big shout out, no copyrights. You guys know how it works with the algorithm. He stated that WWE president and CRO, Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan, has been liaising with a number of business partners, with a number of WWE's business partners since Stephanie took her indefinite leave of absence from WWE this past Thursday. But of course, too, Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, big shout out, no copyrights as always. He had previously reported that Khan will be assuming luring almost all of Stephanie McMahon's duties during her time away from WWE, Apparently she'll be taking an extended period of time away from WWE to focus on her family. So I'm assuming I'm assuming that it means that she's gonna be taking care of the kids, make sure that they're going to school or whatnot. But it could also mean that they're gonna have a fourth child. Or at least attempting to. I don't know. I wouldn't know, but she did claim that she was looking forward to eventually returning to WWE as its chief brand officer when announcing her leave of absence. There has been more details on her leave. But we don't really know a whole lot, basically. But as I said, Nick Khan has been taking up a lot of her duties as chief brand officer, and apparently Fightful Select, big shout out, no copyrights, noted that much of the team that previously worked with Stephanie in WWE had been released by WWE over the past year or so, which made it harder for her to get her work done. So. But the reasons behind it have not come up to light. But in an update, PW Insider's Dave Shear expressed a belief that there's more to it than than we know. With with so many so many different stories coming to light, basically. But he believes that, or rather, he didn't believe that perceived bad booking of the women's division was a driving factor. But the thing is that I truly believe that it might be the fact that she wants to focus on having another kid, which is a possibility, but only time will tell. We don't really know all the details as of yet, but I can tell you one thing right now: she will be back. I can tell you that right now, she will be back. It's hard to say whether or not wanting to have another kid is the case, but more details might come up at some point. But shout outs to Stephanie McMahon. Hope everything's okay. Best of luck. Can't wait to see you back in WWE. But now we have an update on Sasha Banks' contract, and apparently it's going to be expiring within the next 2 months. And apparently, former WWE creative writer Kazim Famuyad, I probably butchered that name. I apologize if I did. Had suggested on the Ringer's Masked Man Show podcast. Big shout out, no copyrights. You guys know how it works with the algorithm. He suggested that the contracts of both of Naomi and Sasha are going to be set to expire within the next 2 months. He also revealed that he I apologize if you guys heard honking in the background. I apologize. Apparently somebody decided to just honk and drive. I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, he had heard that the contracts of both Naomi and Sasha were up, and that they were both in negotiations to renew. But we all know that Naomi is a megastar in her own right, having become a viral sensation. Following her performance in the 2020 women's Royal Rumble, and of course too being viral, going viral on TikTok and whatnot. But Sasha Banks, she's gotten so much success as a singles competitor, having won the NXT Women's title, having won the Raw Women's title 5 times, and the SmackDown Women's title only one time, making her a 6-time champion. Sorry, a 7-time champion, but also having won the WWE Women's Tag Team titles on 3 separate occasions with 2 different superstars. The first 2 were with Bayley, and this last run obviously was with Naomi. And she became one of the first 2 black women to main event WrestleMania, alongside Bianca Belair. But Naomi and Sasha both made history together by being the only black tag team to win tag team gold at WrestleMania, which that right there is just history on its own, which is incredible. But we all know that she's also a member of the 4 Horsewomen of WWE, which that was where the women's revolution was built around. Was obviously around Bayley, Sasha, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. and the thing is that if she were to leave WWE, it would represent a massive blowout for WWE. Obviously, potentially, strengthening, the competition, whether it was, TNA or New Japan or even also AEW for all we know. But we don't really know exactly. But I can tell you one thing right now. But I can tell you one thing right now. If Sasha Banks does re-sign with WWE, I can tell you one thing right now. This is going to probably be the most insane signing in history, because this would mean that they're potentially going to turn Sasha Banks heel. They're going to potentially turn Naomi heel and have her join the Bloodline, and it would mean that Sasha Banks, with this upcoming draft, she could potentially get drafted back to Raw, go after the Raw Women's title, and nothing would change with her in the Raw Women's title. Plain and simple. But I'm curious about what both Sasha and Naomi will do once their contracts are up, and whether or not they get re-signed, because you guys know they've been suspended indefinitely for their actions of not this past Monday but the previous Monday on Raw, where it was supposed to have been a six-pack challenge between the tag team champions, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Doudrop, and Nikki ASH. Was with Sasha and Naomi had just handed the head of talent relations the titles and had walked out. This would mean, this meant that they both have been suspended suspended indefinitely, and now, and then we ended up having a one-on-one match between Asuka and Becky. Asuka ended up winning, and this past Monday on Raw, Becky Lynch got added to the match, making it a triple threat against Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Hell in a Cell in Chicago. But honestly, I don't really know. I don't know what the future holds for Sasha and Naomi. I just hope that they re-sign. So when we do crown new women's tag team champions, Sasha and Naomi can go after the titles again, win them, and actually defend the titles like they were supposed to have done when they first became champions to begin with. But that brings me to the question of the day. Do you guys want to see Sasha Banks re-sign with WWE? If yes, then why? Why should she? And if no, why? Why and where should she go? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more WWE news videos, which typically get posted every Thursday, sometimes on weekends, of course, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And as always, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any family you guys want to send me and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be down in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.